Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of I Am I. My name is Joshua Ansley, and this is a gong for absolutely no fucking reason. Sometimes I like to just have shit in the background. It's one of the rules of theater. It's like, don't put something on stage and then not ever use it because the people are going to be thinking about it the whole time. So I realized I may as well just address this gong and recognize that it has no point in anything that I'm doing, just so we're clear about that. Today I want to talk about the yin and the gong, the yin and the gong, the yin and the yang, right? I say yang because it sounds more pretentious and it sounds like I know what I'm talking about. I don't know yin and yang. I don't really know how the fuck you're supposed to say it. You know, it's kind of like saying hummus instead of hummus. I don't know. Paris, would you like to take a trip to Paris? You know. Anyway, so the yin and the yang, right? These seemingly opposing forces. See, the perception though is that we have these opposing forces, but in actuality what it really is they're working together to create harmony. So when we step into our flow and understanding of this, everything kind of changes, so we don't resist it. So we understand, we were talking in class this week about the rise and the fall and the breath, and understanding by starting getting into that flow of that rise and the fall of the breath, right? And understanding that as soon as you hit that exhale, at the bottom of the exhale, we immediately start to rise again. Right? And it is the nature, the cycle of things. When we step into a cyclical understanding of life, and a cyclical understanding of the universe, which is different than being very linear. Right? And in that understanding, we have this space that is everything coexisting at once. Right? And so that we're working together. So I always talk about the stillness inside of us, right? So the self that we talk about in the Eastern philosophy, the Vedantic philosophy or whatever, Advaita Vedanta, is this space of absolute stillness, absolute peace, absolutely steady and trusting, and this is, my perception of it and understanding of it, the way I use it, right, as my higher powers, this higher self, right, is absolute trust, absolute understanding, absolute steadiness, absolute ease. So it is outside of this constantly changing space, the thoughts, the emotions, the body, the external world, which includes our thoughts, our minds, our hearts, these emotions, all this kind of stuff, right? That is constantly in flux. So that in all action, there is inaction. And it's these opposites that instead of being opposed, they are coming together at once. And it starts to make sense, in the Bhagavad Gita when Krishna talks about this actionless action, that in all action there is stillness. And in all stillness there is action. So in this yogic space, we try to get towards this stillness, right? So we still the body and everything, trying to get there. But the body's never going to be completely still, right? There's always going to be action. The blood's going to be constantly pumping. The air's going to be constantly coming in and out. Unless we're fucking dead, there will be action. Because action is the insignia of life. So when we really get into the space of understanding the stillness within us, it's not just to become completely still. Again, this is my interpretation and where I'm at right now. 10 years from now, I might be like, eyes fucking roll back in my head, just sitting on top of a mountain somewhere, meditating for 10 years straight, But for right now, it's understanding this action in this world. And again, if you're watching this video, then you're obviously of that ilk, because we're in this fucking world right now. So how do we take action in this world? Is with that stillness, right? So when that we have that stillness moving within us, and we're always connected into that stillness. Otherwise, we're lost in the chaos of the action, right? So we're lost in that, the Rajasic nature of life, this constant moving and chaos and frenetic energy and all over the space, which is, our mind is constantly moving, is constantly changing. Our bodies are constantly changing. It's how we find that homeostasis. I think I talked about this last week, was that the body constantly has to move in order to keep that homeostasis. So when we're finding balance, the muscles are constantly moving to keep that balance. So it's not just absolute steadiness. We don't just become stuck, right? So it's with that stillness, we're able to find that movement and that flow. So when we step into this flow of life and stop resisting, because it's when we resist, that which we resist persists. But when we step into the natural flow of our minds and our bodies, allowing them to actually just move in their own natural rhythm, instead of having to force this control issue on it, right? That's when we can step into a beautiful flow in life, with that stillness from within. So it's these things that seem opposite are really working together in ways that are beyond our understanding, our limited understanding that is inside the mind. It comes back into the law of karma, and how it works is so much wider than we can really comprehend, right? It is a much bigger picture than we're able to see. So we say, well, why does this happen? And why does this happen? These things that seem really awful to us, it's a natural order of life, because the universe is constantly seeking that balance. And it is going into that balance naturally. So when we stop fucking with it, and we leave it alone a little bit and understand the things that are happening to us are because they are a natural order of things, of the results of the actions that we have taken previously. And as we step into moving and understanding as our action moves forward, that there will be results for that, and we can make a logical deduction of, we can't completely know the results and have expectations, but we can understand that we just change our relationship to the action with a stillness inside the action, and we let the action, the mind and the body, just flow without us getting too enmeshed in it. We let that actionless action take place. So it's not one or the other, it's both integrated at once. And that is a really powerful way to step into this flow of life, instead of controlling and having it have to be a certain way. When we have to have it be a certain way in order for us to be okay, is where we're trying to take this control and fight with it and make it go a certain way. And the life is so much more beautiful when we surrender into this flow. And that can start with the breath, even as we just understand stepping into this, again, the rise and fall of the breath. That as soon as that fall happens and we hit the bottom, it starts to rise back up again. And if we get too excited about the rise and how great everything's going, don't. Why? Because at some point when it hits the top, it's gonna fucking come back down again. That is the cycle of life. But within that, if we get into a steadiness and a stillness through it, that fluctuation of life just happens around us, and it flows around us, and we stay completely steady, even our own thoughts and emotions. All right, that's all I got. Love y'all. In the Kesha Lakin, I am you, you are me. Namaste. Peace. What? Too much?